All right, let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever spent hours researching KDP niches, scrolling through Amazon, trying to figure out what kind of book you should make next, only to end up thinking, everything good is already taken? Or, if I'm not making a coloring book, what else is even worth doing? And yeah, I've been there too, because here's the truth nobody talks about. When you're publishing on Amazon KDP, the stuff that looks exciting isn't always the stuff that actually sells. And sometimes the biggest struggle is trying to stand out in niches that are already overcrowded. But what if the answer wasn't to compete harder, but to compete smarter? What if the book that gets you traction, sales, and momentum isn't flashy, isn't trendy, isn't viral, but instead one of those unexciting activity books that does surprisingly well in smaller niches where barely anyone is looking? So in this video, I'll go through some of these unexciting niches, ones that you should focus on if you're wanting to finally see results on KDP. Now, if this is your first time here, my name is Jeff, and this channel is all about becoming self-sufficient when it comes to making money online. So if this sounds like you, feel free to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. With that being said, let's get right to it. Now, if we take a look at this book, this is a dot markers activity book. And as you can see with the interior, it's actually pretty simple. You have a main basic image or an element, and it's just followed up with a bunch of circles inside it where the customer is going to fill it in with colors called dot markers. And it's just as simple as that, nothing too complicated. When we take a look at this niche, the dot markers activity book, we see total search results 1,520, so not too competitive here, but the average bestsellers rank on the first page below 100,000. So we have very, very high performing books in this niche. And we can see with Titan's Quick View, the niche score 85, and that Titans Pro analysis, demand is a 7, opportunity is a 9. And going through some of these books on the first page, we see sponsored products right here, ranked at 81,000, 137,000. This one is ranked at 30,000, and this one 49,000. And then the book in the number 1 spot is actually this book right here, ranked at 693. When we look through the second row, we can see all high performers once again, 1,000, 3,000, 2,000. This one is at 19,000, and this one is at 11,000, all the way through to the end of the first page where books are still selling. For example, these two books right here, this one's ranked at 65,000, and this one 54,000. So no shortage of high performing books. And if we take a closer look at one of these high performing books, this one has the number 1 bestseller called Dot Markers Activity Book Vehicles, priced at $9.85, only 75 pages in total length. So not a lot of coloring pages here. This one, 35 coloring pages in total. And when we look at the bestsellers rank of 6,576, we can see from Titan's Quick View, estimated 30-day royalties anywhere from $1,700 to over $2,600 per month. And if we go here to the A+ content, maybe we can see some more interiors. I've done videos on this on the past, but if you want me to create a updated video on this niche, let me know down below. Now, the next activity book that is unexciting but does surprisingly well in smaller niches is going to be this Spot the Difference book. And as you can see, here's an example of one of the interiors. Basically, you have two images, looks very, very similar, but there are going to be differences between these two images, and that's really just the name of the game. I mean, I can already spot one of them, and that is going to be there is a crease in this pillow where there is no crease in this pillow. And as you can see, the next page, very similar thing, find 8 differences. Now, when we look at this niche, the Spot the Difference books, we can see total results 2,052, but you can definitely niche down within this niche. Things like, for example, for kids, for adults, and I've seen other themes here, such as with food or with animals or with, for example, this one, unicorns. So a lot of different ways to go with this niche, but as we can see, niche score a 72, so pretty high. The Titans Pro analysis shows demand is a 7, opportunity is a 9, with a very low average bestsellers rank on the first page. Now, going through some of these books, we can see the Spot the Difference ranked at 13,000. This Magical Unicorn one ranked at 37,000. Scrolling through the page, This one ranked at 53,000. This one is at 100,000. This one 71,000, 76,000, and this book 119,000. So already a handful of books that are doing very, very well. And as you can see, scrolling through the rest of the first page, a lot more books here with very good rankings. Now, if we take a look at this example, this is called the Ultimate Winter Spot, the difference book for adults, 55 picture puzzles with 550 differences to find. So not a very lengthy book, 72 pages overall in length and only 55 sets of images. This book is priced at $9.99. Now, when we look through the interior, you can see these are full color images, but this is going to be the same concept. This one has 10 differences. When we check out the bestsellers rank, 53,079, that is good for an estimated 30-day royalties of $300 to over $400 per month. And I've actually done a video on how to create this book using AI. And as you can see, here are some examples right here. If you want to go ahead and watch that video in depth, I'll link that tutorial in the description down below. Now, the next activity book that's unexciting but does surprisingly well in smaller niches is going to be this nonogram puzzle book. And as you can see, very simple puzzle. You can find generators that do this, but be careful with the free ones because they may or may not contain commercial rights that you can or cannot use. But the concept is actually pretty simple. It is just a very simple puzzle game. And as you can see, when it's done and is filled out, it reveals an image. Now, when we take a look at this niche, the nonogram puzzle book, we see total results 738, so not very competitive. You're gonna have a better chance here at getting your book seen. And we see niche score 62. Titans Pro Analysis says demand is a 7, opportunity is a 9. Going through the books on the first page, this book right here ranked at 69,000. This one 64,000. This one is at 130,000. This one 376,000, and this one 218,000. And then going through the rest of the page, more examples of books selling very well: 122,000, 286,000, 259,000, 293,000. Now, if we take a look at this nonogram puzzle book, this one is quite a lengthy book, 400 puzzles, so that's good for 282 pages overall. And that makes sense with the price point because this is priced at $19.99. Now, when we look at the bestsellers rank, this one's ranked at 64,045, and that's going to be good for an estimated 30-day royalties from Titans Quick View of about $500 to over $700 per month. And these books are very simple to make. This is the nonogram generator that I use. And the reason I like this is because not only can you do random nonograms, you can do ones based off of images. And so I've loaded an image right here, and all you have to do is just create. And as you can see, yes, I loaded the Etsy logo, and it does very, very well with that. And so it gives you the solved grid, it gives you the puzzle grid. These are going to be the pages that you put into your KDP book. And if for any reason there's some issues with the actual generation, you can go ahead and fix it up by clicking on these grids, these squares. And as you can see, I've kind of messed it up there, but I can also erase it by doing this. So very simple nonogram generator. Now, this is a paid tool, but it does give you commercial rights, so you can use this for your KDP books. So if you want to check it out, I'll leave that link down below. Now, the next activity book that is unexciting but does surprisingly well in smaller niches is going to be this how to draw book for kids. And how this book works is basically you have your final image right there, but it's kind of reverse engineered. And so you have your steps on how to create and draw a certain image. And then the customer or the child will basically just follow it step by step until they finish the full image. Now, if you know your way around Adobe Illustrator or those graphic design tools, you can definitely create these books pretty easily. And if you want me to do a full tutorial on this niche, let me know by commenting down below. But if we go ahead and take a look at this niche, how to draw books for kids, we're going to see total results 4,576. Now, you can definitely niche down within this niche. You can look for age ranges or themes like Christmas or do for girls, for boys, for unicorns, spaceships, things like that, you can definitely get this number down. But we see a niche score a 66, and Titans Pro Analysis says demand is a 6, opportunity is a 7. Looking through the first page, we're going to see 3 bestsellers on the first page, and actually this one right here is ranked number 2 overall in books. So out of all the books currently on Amazon KDP, this is the number 2 book. Then we have another bestseller, number 96, and then another bestseller at 194. So a very, very lucrative niche. We go through the rest of the page, another bestseller here, and then another bestseller, and then books that just rank very well. Number 36, number 298, number 199. And you're going to see that pattern go throughout this first page. Another bestseller right here, number 730. And so this book is very, very lucrative. A lot of potential here with this niche. Now let's go ahead and take a look at that number 1 book in this niche. This one's titled How to Draw Everything, 300 Drawings of Cute Stuff, Animals, Food, Gifts, and Other Amazing Things. This one's priced at $10.90. So a very decent price point here in terms of royalties, 110 pages overall. And we can see with this book, it's actually pretty simple in its nature. You have your final image, and then once again, as a publisher, it's reverse engineered into parts, but a pretty simple concept. Now, if we actually look at the numbers on this book, it's actually pretty insane. Number 2 book, and here are the 30-day royalties estimated from Titans QuickView. This is a pretty insane amount of number, and even looking at the 30-day sales is actually pretty incredible. So it shows you the power of KDP when you get a best-selling book. Now, not every book is going to be like this. This is very rare, but I'm just showing you the potential of what a top-selling book could possibly make when everything goes right. Now, the next activity book that's unexciting but does surprisingly well in smaller niches is going to be this word fill-in puzzle book. Now, this is different than a crossword puzzle book in that you're going to have all of these words right here that is segmented into how many letters each word has. So for example, 3 letters, 4 letters, 5 letters, 6 letters, and so on and so forth. And what the customer does is they're going to try to fit these 3 letters into this grid along with all of these other letters all into this grid so that not a single square is missing and not a single letter is missing from this grid. And as you can see, very simple type of book. Now, when you have a generator that can do this for you, all you really have to do is design the pages. And as you can see, this is basically the whole thing in its entirety, just filled with a bunch of word fill-in puzzles. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at this niche, the word fill-in puzzle book, we're going to see total results 1,366. So not too competitive here. We see a niche score 78, Titans Pro Analysis, demand is a 6, opportunity is a 9, and the average bestsellers rank on the first page, doing very, very well, below 200,000. Now, going through these books, you're going to see this one ranked at 22,000, this one right here ranked at 60,000, and this one ranked at 37,000. So pretty high performers for a niche that no one really talks about. Now, some more books here. This one, 28,000. This word fill-in book, 63,000. This one is 91,000, 200,000. This one, 61,000. So you're seeing a pattern here of books that are actually doing very, very well. Even more here. This one, puzzle book for seniors, ranked at 83,000. This one, large grid, 66,000. This one for adults, 90,000. Now, if we take a look at this example, the word fill-in puzzle book for adults, this one priced at $16.99, print length 295 pages. So this one's going to have 501 word fill-in puzzles. And you're going to see very similar to the other example that we looked at, just a different type of design. But as you can see, all of these words and letters have to go into this grid. And sometimes they even include a clue that helps you get started And so there are a few ways to make this type of book. Now, if we scroll all the way up, looking at the numbers, we're going to see a book ranking of 37,921. So that's going to be good for an estimated 30-day royalties of anywhere from $500 to $800 per month. Now, this is the generator that I use to create word fill-in puzzles. Very, very simple generator, but very powerful. You can choose your book size here, 8.5 by 11 inches, 8 by 10, 8.5 by 8.5. And then you can choose your grid size. You can go from small, medium, and large. And then you can choose how many random puzzles you want. So if you want to do 100 puzzles at a time, you can easily do that. And then this one's nice because you can add hints to your puzzles. So if you look at the puzzle here, you can add hints here and you can add up to 100 hints. And there's a lot of customization here. And this one even includes categories, so you don't actually have to think about that. But if you wanted to add a custom list, you could totally do that, entering your custom list into here. Now, I've done a full video on how to make a word fill-in puzzle book. If you want to watch that, I'll leave that tutorial in the description down below. But if you wanted to go ahead and take a look at this tool, I'll also leave that link down below. But also note that I am using the highest version of this tool. So if you get the basic versions, it's not going to give you all of this functionality. Just keep that in mind. And that's the crazy part. While everyone else is fighting over the loud, saturated niches, the trending coloring books, the massive search terms, the viral ideas, these simple, unexciting activity books are quietly bringing in consistent results because they live in smaller pockets of demand, where buyers are loyal and competition is way less. If you're ready to finally start creating your first book the right way, don't forget to grab my free KDP royalty roadmap in the description down below. It'll walk you through the exact steps to publish a low or medium content book without feeling overwhelmed. If this video helped you see what's possible, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss my next video. With that being said, thanks for watching. Bye for now.